Good evening, everyone. I have to upload that new video that says 8:30 because I changed it from 7:30 to 8:30 from now on. But anyways, good evening. Thank you for joining me on Wednesday. Um, you know, and I have a wonderful, awesome, most anticipated guest of mine, Daniel Klaus. Am I saying that right?
How did you say it?
Klaus?
Klaus? Klaus?
Yeah?
Is there an O and a U in my
Klaes?
name? That's
Klaes?
better. That's better. Class, Clay.
Class.
Yeah. Everybody from like New England says Klaus. Or Nick when he first met me was saying Class.
It's a
I'm
bit
like,
like
is that
everybody
like
I talk to is like they say it differently, but so I just picked one.
there you go. Hey.
So it's class,
Yeah.
Dan class. I like class,
Yeah. It's classy.
classy. Um, so for those of you that do not know who Dan is, he is the owner of the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. Um, Before the show, I was telling him about, and which all of you know who watch my show, because I talk about Hinsdale almost every single show, like I do Gettysburg. Um, I fought to go for 3 years with the Peaches, and they finally said, "That's it, you're going." Um, I the closest I had gotten to Hinsdale prior to that was being on the phone with Megan the 2 times that she was there by herself overnight. And I said, oh my God, I aspire to have balls that big in my life. Like, I just think that she was like so brave. But, anyways, finally went, and it is now, and Gettysburg is not included in this, but Hinsdale is my favorite place I have been to date. So,
Besides Gettysburg.
besides Gettysburg, but to be in
All
the
right.
same category is like, I for the longest time it was Rolling Hills, to be honest with you. And then, I went to Hinsdale and I'm like, holy fuck, this place is awesome. In all, not just paranormal. It was everything was just so awesome there. So, there's a peach on. She said, I agree. Hey. So yeah, we had, as a matter of fact, we had such a great time and we love it so much. And we were so in love with the place that we're coming in April and we're gonna plant an apple tree and a peach tree.
Cool. That'll make me happy. Now if
Yeah.
you can only come back and harvest and make me pies, that'll be even better.
Hey, I can make an awesome peach pie. I'm not even kidding you.
I love peach pie. It's my favorite.
So do I. Oh my God, it's my favorite.
Or
Yes.
strawberry rhubarb.
Yes. Well, actually, I can't say yes to that. I apologize. I have never had that. I was still in the peach pie,
It's
you know.
delish.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
So yes, we all talk about it to this day. On every investigation, we talk about it when we're together. So anyways, enough about our stuff. We want to know about you.
Everybody from
You
like
know,
New England.
where you started, like how you got into it, how you got to Hinsdale. And I mean, I feel like the success over the last couple of years, it's really grown really a lot. There's been, a lot of attention towards Hinsdale. Can you just take us through the the classy, the classiness of
Yeah,
Dan?
I mean, it's not anything that I don't know. It was just I went there with my group, just like you guys did, like but a long time ago. We're local, so we heard of the local legends of this house, how there was a demonic entity there, and a family was chased out in the 70s, and it was available. It was open. A team was trying to fix it up, kind of similar to what I was doing. I mean, they started the whole process, and they're
Right.
friends of mine, So of course they were letting local teams know about it, and the only downfall of the whole situation is that the person that financed it was a paranormal investigator out of Calgary, Alberta, and he became distant from the group. He owned the place. If they ever wanted to have a television show there, if they ever wanted to have anything done there, they had to run it through him. And then he became to the point where he wasn't talking to anybody. He had some issues going on, and just kind of fell off the face of the earth. So they were forced to let it go. And what was going to happen is the place was going to be torn down. I mean, they weren't able to put any money in to fix it because all the money was getting sent to Canada. They did what they could do, and they did some amazing things with donations and things like that, but it just wasn't where it needed to be. in order to save it.
Wow.
Um,
I,
so
and I
I,
can't imagine. I cannot even imagine it not being there.
it's there's a lot of respect I have for that group, all the people that were involved with it before I bought it, and it was hard for me to even approach the whole. I think I want to buy this place. I want to step in and buy this location because you don't want to step on people's toes. Like
Right.
when they're my friends, and so I really I had to get their blessing, before I even did anything. I
Absolutely.
let them know what my intentions were and how the place would never be shut off to them, and it's just trying to save it. And and they were all cool. Everybody was cool with me doing it that was involved in the previous, and I went for it. And you know I don't know. So I don't know why I did. I just felt very drawn to the location. I've had some very good personal experiences there.
So you're from that area.
I'm from Buffalo,
Okay.
Buffalo, New York, which is
So
about
you
an hour and a half north
okay.
of
But so it
Hinsdale.
was an accessible place for you guys to go, so
Yeah,
you knew
yeah,
it. Yeah, okay.
yeah. And for paranormal teams, that's a quick drive, a quick
Yeah,
jump.
for sure.
um, so yeah, I mean, then I got a hold of the bank, and let them know that I was interested in buying it, and they wanted to sell me just the land. Like they already had it down that the house was getting torn down, and I told them my intent was to try to salvage the location. I didn't want the building torn down, and gave him my reasonings why. And I guess he felt the passion behind what I was saying. And he told me if I was serious about that I would have to come down and meet with them in Cuba, New York. And I met with them, and the only issue is the bank. There's no bank that's going to finance this location with black mold and a leaky roof and all the the vents
Oh,
and
wow.
pipes and everything ripped out of there. And I had to actually buy it through him. He kind of held the mortgage for me, and then it's a lot higher interest rates than I would have had to have done. But you know it is what it is. I was able to save the location and um, get it into a better spot. And take all the funds that we were making from investigations and people supporting the location and putting them back into fixing it up so it is what it is today. Because
You know,
I swear, if you would have went years ago when I
yeah,
first got it, you'd be like, "Are these the two same locations?"
that's
Because
and that is my most favorite thing about it is that you can actually see the progress before, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't physically there, but I've seen pictures of, you know what I mean? So like that to me is just, what paranormal groups don't understand is when they go in there and or people that get the opportunity to investigate places like this, you become a part of that location's history.
you do.
And for me that is the most rewarding thing. It's so worth it, you
Yeah,
know?
I want anybody that goes there to feel like they're part of it because they are. I mean, they've made an investment, as far as I'm concerned, into the location and the renovations and fixing it up and making it more cohesive of a place for people to investigate when they come. And we have bigger plans, like we have, like a paranormal. I have a bucket list of things I want to get done still, and
Yeah.
just to make it even better.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I'll be honest with you, it's perfect.
it is
It's
it is
perfect.
perfect.
I honestly, I'm telling you right now, like
But
if
how much more perfect would it be if there was a spot where you could put all your equipment and not have to have it all crammed inside the house?
yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't change anything about it until you know what it's like to be
Well,
able to do that.
I don't plan on changing the house. I just plan on making a place for the team to put their gear and maybe if
Yeah.
sleep or hang out when the two, like say you and somebody else were in there investigating, so the other team wasn't in, the rest of the team wasn't in there. And especially during the winter time, like it's harder when you have like six people or seven
Yeah.
people in the small house to try to do a investigation with all the possible contamination there could be. So I'm just thinking of like bigger, like
No,
not
no, no.
changing the
I
house, not
agree with you
changing the.
there. But I agree with you there. And what I was saying was like I guess like right now to me, like I said, it's perfect. But like, because I don't know what it would be like to have those things there, being there. You know what I
Right.
mean? So what you're saying, yeah, that sounds so awesome. Because I'm thinking about us. There was seven of us. You know what I
Right.
mean? And some of us went outside while some of us stayed inside. And yeah, the fire is awesome. You know what I mean? Like, it's great. We love it. But it does get a little chilly out there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, and let me tell you something. I will never go outside at nighttime there again.
Why is that?
Because I'm telling you, I had that. I tell you about my experience that I had out there?
Yeah,
Listen,
but does everybody else know about your experience?
they probably do because I talk, like I said, I talk about Hinsdale all the time, no matter what. Like, but um, so the interesting thing about my story, so I'll try to tell the oh, and Kelly was outside with me. She said I still don't know what we saw. I after watching, so Dalen Spratt from Ghost Brothers has this little show he does with his wife where they ghost or roast. They put up videos and stuff and they talk
Yeah.
about it. They decide whether it's paranormal or not. It's awesome. So the other night I was watching one of the episodes for the first time, and these people had caught on camera exactly what I saw. Now, prior to seeing that, I was like, okay, it's a bear. It was an animal. It was something. I mean, I just remember, like, and every time I tell the story, I remember when I put the flashlight up, the eyes. The eyes were these bright, this bright color, and I promise you, it felt like they went into my soul and back out. And I said, I was so scared. But I'm like, that was a fucking bear. I ran so fast into that house. Like, I pushed Megan out of the way. I was like George Costanza when the nursing home with the fire broke out. I was dude run. I pulled a dude run. But it was because I thought it was a bear. But then I saw this video the other night and I was like, oh my God, that is exactly what I saw. So now I don't know what I saw. I agree, Kelly. I was swearing it was a bear. I'm telling myself it was a bear, but I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I mean, we've had sightings and pictures taken of things that we can't explain in those hills behind the house. So,
That was the most scariest,
but don't you
coolest.
want to know what it is?
I
Don't you
don't.
have to look fear in the eye and just go back
No, I
and
looked that
sleep
thing
in the
in the eyes.
forest?
I looked that thing in the
I
eyes.
think you should pitch a tent and
No fucking way.
sleep under the tree
No
up on the hill,
way. No
or put a
way.
hammock up in the woods and sleep in the woods and
It
just
was
see what
so
the
crazy, the thing. It was crazy. Like, we had a FLIR, and we had also night vision goggles because we went out there at first without it, and and no. We went out there at first without it, and I felt uncomfortable. Not because of anything paranormal I want per se, but I felt it was so dark, the woods, there's that lady up the hill, and you know what I mean? Like, and then they were like, oh, bears have, we see bears sometimes. And I'm like, oh, awesome. Not that yeah, I'm afraid of bears, but not like I don't have a phobia, but if I saw one, obviously I shit my pants, right? So, anyways,
what do they teach you when you're like 8 years old if you see a bear?
I
Don't
don't care what anybody says.
don't run.
I know. And everybody said that to me. I'm like, you see a bear coming at you, tell me you won't run. You won't run. I fucking took off. I even teared. Like, my butt cheeks clenched. I teared and I ran so fast. My equipment went flying. Everything, I left it out there. I didn't even give a shit. Like, I was like, so like they were like, so the thing is when we were out there at first, and I said, let's go back in. I said, I want to at least be able to see our surroundings. And when we went outside, we saw a black cat. So we were able to see what an animal looks like on there and what it, on both things. So we're sitting out there and we hear off in the distance this, like, almost as if a boulder was being dropped on a mound of dirt, solid dirt, like boom. And that could have been anything. I'm not saying it's paranormal, but we heard that. I remember hearing that noise. But then I just remember feeling, and we were out by where the trees are going to get planted, like out there or the plots or something. So I just felt uneasy, right? So I said to Megan, I'm like, we gotta go back towards the house. I said, or we gotta get the equipment. We get the equipment. I still didn't feel right. I was like, let's just go sit by the fire. it wasn't until that point where we were sitting at the fire and I heard a bang at the back of the house. Now, I went like this with the flashlight because I was like, all right, either somebody shut the refrigerator door because you know how loud it is when the door shuts, or the bathroom door or something. So I was waiting for one of the peaches to go back from the kitchen. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And I'm like, nothing happens. Well, I didn't even have time to react to that because as I'm turning back around to tell them, I see eyes off where we were just at. And I was like, what's that? And I picked the flare up. And as I'm picking the flare up, it turned to the side. So I didn't see it head on at that point. It turned and it was huge like a bear.
Hmm.
It was big. It was big. And then I was like, oh, I stood up and I said to them, I'm like, that's a fucking bear. That is a bear. And they're like, where? And I'm like, what do you mean where? Right there. And I put the flashlight up because I gave them the FLIR. And the second time I put the flashlight up, that thing, the eyes were like, I'm telling you, we locked eyes. And it was like in and out. And it was going like this and it was walking. And the eyes were going like this as it was walking.
Uh-huh.
And I was gone in 20 seconds, like less than 20 seconds.
You're
Like,
lucky.
I was going to get my head ripped off of my shoulders, I felt like. I said, remember when you were like little and you were running up the steps because you thought something was right behind you?
Yeah.
Times that by 1 million.
Why you got to run, right?
Times it by 1 million.
So I see Ron's
Yes.
remark in the so the Hinsdale House is in the southern tier. It's not up by Buffalo. It's like right next to Allegheny Mountains. So it's really, there's tons of bear around the Hinsdale House. I've caught them on my cameras before. They're black bears, looking for food. But the
That's
Allegheny
what we were
Mountains,
mad about. Me and Megan were like, "Fuck! Why didn't we tell Dan to check the cameras before?" Because we didn't think about the outside cameras. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, that's it. I just wanted to let them know that we're kind of the house stood as far as retrospective what type of animals that we've gotten up there. We've gotten coyotes, wolves, bears.
I caught
Some type of large cat. I think it might be like a panther or something. Supposedly they let some sterile panthers loose up there to help with the population of the
panthers,
coyotes. Yeah,
like black panthers.
yeah.
Maybe that's what I saw.
I saw one up
You
there.
saw one? Maybe I saw a
It
black
looked like
panther.
it looked like a black panther, like a big cat.
Maybe that's what I saw.
What's up, Kenny Biddle?
Fiddler.
My neighbor. He's my neighbor now. We have office, like we can walk to each other's offices now.
You know what? My family actually
In the summer, not now, not with this cold.
Oh my God. Every time I turn around, I look on there, I feel bad for you guys. You're like,
Snow globe, snow globe, snow globe.
oh my God. I'm like, there's no way I would live up. I would never.
I was hoping I would bring back the weather from Jamaica with me on Monday. I got home and nope, more snow today all day.
No way. I wouldn't. My family came from Italy. They ended up in Buffalo and Depew and all that. And I'm happy they moved.
See, Diana May has a picture of it. Did you see
I
that?
want to see it. I know. Yeah.
You should send that to her, Diana, and see if maybe that's what she saw, possibly.
Yeah. Holy shit. Now I'm even more scared. I'm more scared of a panther than I am a bear.
It's a cat. You like cats. I hear them.
I love kitties. I would love to have a panther, but I would love to have a nice one, not a wild one that wanted to eat me. I knew it. I knew it was an animal. Let me see. Okay, he said, thanks. Often when you run, a bear will follow you. Yeah, it was far off, probably near where I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think somebody was saying that there are unmarked graves on the property. Out further out. That's where we were at. We were doing an EVP session out there. That's where it looked like it was at when we were at the fire. But I don't, again, perception, I don't know how far away it was or how big it was. I know it was like at least as tall as like the hay or like those sticks you have out there with that marking the stuff. Like it was at least that tall.
That makes sense. That would be a small bear then, if it was a bear.
Yeah. That was so whenever time I go on a show and people are like, "Where's the scariest place you ever been?" I'm like, "Hinsdale." They're like, "What's the freakiest thing that's ever happened to you?" I'm like, "Happened at Hinsdale." They're like, "What's your most favorite place to go?" Hinsdale. Like, it's my answer for everything because I had so not, I had the giving tree and how the peaches started another one, and just we had so much fun that weekend, and so much activity. Like so many things, unexplainable things happened. What for you has been the most craziest thing?
I mean, probably the situation when I bought the reason why I wanted to buy the location. I Now this is like before I owned it. I had just started kind of doing research on it. All I knew about was the Dandy family and how they had failed structural exorcism of the location in the 1970s, and a lot of our investigation was always focused on that because that's all we knew. Um, Now we were going back to basically say goodbye to the location because the all the electrical, the duct work, everything was ripped out of the house, and they were going to be tearing it down. And we were allowed to go in one more time. We were in the kitchen, and it was just me, the co-founder of my group, Cameron, Michelle, who was helping with run the tour, and Tim Shaw. And he was just filming us, and they were, Cameron was talking about the exorcism, and it just felt stale, like nothing,
Right.
the point when you kind of go in and ask the same question over and over again. So then I had been researching some of the other families that had lived there and came across the Misnick family, Flo and Joe Misnick, who are the older elderly couple that lived there, the last residents of the house. And I know they had both passed away, and I called out for Flo, and I just had like this electrical feeling up my arm, like just a really
Yeah.
weird feeling, because I'm not one to say I got touched or anything like that. And like the K2 meter in my hand, started going off all the way to 9 or 500 milligauss, and just kept going, blinking. And I was like, wow, this is like, where is this coming from? Because we've done
Right.
like base readings. There's no live electrical cords in the house. There's no any reason that it should be really going off. And I continued to have what I felt like was a conversation with her. I asked her to hold my hand as we went up the stairs, and as I was walking up the stairs, the K2 meter stayed lit in my hand all the way up the stairs into the master bedroom. And then when I crossed over into Mary's room is when I lost her. And I think I'm pretty sure. I mean, there's a lot of synchronicities because of this. The next day, we filmed it all. We put it on our YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to actually see that video, just go to my YouTube channel and watch the Hinsdale House. There's 2 parts, and it's in the second part. But then the next day I posted a picture up of the page. This is probably like almost 7-8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago.
Hmm.
Just let everybody know how cool I was that I went to this house to investigate the night before. And I got a message from a lady named Jackie, and she says, "Oh, that's my grandparents' old house." I don't even
That's
know this. I don't
so
even know
cool.
this woman, right? I don't even know her. Like, I just posted a picture of the house, and she sends me a message that looks like my grandparents' old house. Is that house in Hinsdale? And I'm like, "You've got to be shitting me right now." So then I immediately accepted the message, and I wrote back to her and I said, "Who's your grandparents?" And she said, "Flo and Joe Misnick." I said, "Holy shit!"
That's
So,
crazy.
and she said she feels a very big connection with her grandmother there. She's wasn't she told us stories about things that happened to her when she was a young girl at the house. And I of course invited her. She has keys to the place, like she can come up whenever she wants, except for there's a team there or something. But if we have an event or something, she's more than welcome to come up whenever.
That
And
is so cool.
she's been learning about paranormal and investigating, and she's got her own tools, and she's become like a kind of like a freelancer. And then this past summer she actually ran her own tour, which is cool. And she got to sit around the fire and talk about her grandparents and her family, and we investigated together. And I was there for support, and she's run a few of them now, and they've been very successful. It's cool to be able to not just talk about the exorcism, be able to talk about the actual history of the location, the people that live there, what energies could possibly be there. And she's a big part of it, and
Mhm.
that that was kind of like the turning point for me. So after that happened to me, that's when I said, you know what, I'm going to try to buy this place. I'm going to try to see if I can save it, because there's energies here that want to have their voices heard, and we're not listening, and we're not
Right.
hearing it. So
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, we did EVP bursts in there and stuff. And I think we sent you the one where when we split up, and it was, I think Kim and Lauren and Dana in the house. And, and the rest of us went outside, and Dana had asked a question like, did you feel really crowded? Some of the lines of, do you feel better now that, they're out, that it's not as crowded, and, and you hear this woman say they got out. So like saying like, no, I'm okay now, because, they left, it was crowded, and it's probably one of the best EVPs I've heard. And like, just, it was awesome. And then at nighttime, we're all in the living room together except for Kim and Dana. They were in Mike's room. Is Mike's room downstairs?
yeah.
So they were in Mike's room, and we all collectively thought Kim had gotten up out of the bed and like came out to the kitchen, because it sounded like somebody walking and like rustling through our bags. Like we had like, like shopping bags and stuff on the table. And we were like expecting her to come into the living room. So nobody was like looking or anything. We were just kind of, and then when she never came, we were like, me and Jossie like looked at each other like, what is it? Kim? And she was in there sleeping. They both were in there sleeping. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, that was so awesome. And funny thing is Jossie looked at me and she's like, I'm not getting to go see what it is. She's like, Kenny Biddle would be so disappointed in us right now, but I'm not going out there to see what just happened. It was the best, but it was so funny.
Yeah, because it could have been like Paramouse running through your bags or something.
Oh my God. See, I'm not afraid of that stuff. I'm afraid of bears. And
well, definitely probably wasn't a bear in the house.
I know, I told on us. Whoops.
Kenny will be disappointed that you're telling a paranormal story, but you didn't investigate.
I know. We would. I was on board with Jossie. I was on board because that was crazy. That was crazy.
Kim was snoring.
That they were sleeping, yeah. And then right after that, Megan had already been sleeping for like 45 minutes to an hour. That happened, and then right after that happened, she jumped up like out of a dead sleep, and she was like, "Oh my God," and grabbed her leg. And she said, "Did one of you bitches just pinch my leg?" We were like, "What?" Like, like it was just weird. Those two things that happened. My pillow was pushed. I was like laying on a pillow, and it was almost as if it felt like somebody poked the other side of the pillow. That was cool. Like that's never happened before.
Well, have you seen the videos that we have on my YouTube from the Seekers of the Paranormal team that was there years ago?
No, I have to look that. I have to look at that.
So they were Bobby Ann Merritt and her team, Seekers of the Paranormal. It's right when I first bought the house, and she had it rented for Saturday night, and she said, she's communicating with me the whole time she's there, and she says, nothing. It was just a dead night. Nothing really happened too much. We filmed ourselves when we went to sleep, and we'll watch the cameras and kind of get back with me. So then a few days later, when they were reviewing the footage, she's like, "Oh my God, Dan! Oh my God, you're not gonna believe this, right?" And she sends me this video, and she's sleeping on the couch, that big couch, and she's kind of like curled up, like in like in a little U or whatever, and it looks like. I mean, it distinctively looks like an arm that goes underneath the blanket, and the blanket lifts up and it drops down.
Oh, wow.
And then a couple minutes later, in that area that would be between her legs and her head, like that little space, it looks like an animal like pops up out of there. Just it looks like a head of like a raccoon or something.
Wait, maybe I did see that.
And then it pops back down. And then in a couple more minutes, the shadow blacks out the camera, and the camera just goes dead.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, I definitely want to see that. I didn't see, I feel like that when you're describing that second thing, I feel like maybe I saw that, but if I saw that, I would have had to have seen the rest, right? Is it all in the same
Yeah.
video?
Yeah. No, it's they're separate clips. So
Oh, they're
maybe you saw
separate
one
clip.
clip. Yeah, maybe you saw one clip and not the other.
Yeah, I'll have to go back. That sounds awesome. Yeah, we had some, I'm telling you, we had some, like, it was it was also, like, a very spiritual, I went during the day when we were out there, and then doing that whole the giving to the tree and stuff like that. I've never done anything like that before. So, it was definitely, that part of it, like, you could definitely feel that that Native American,
Yeah.
energy out there up there, and the thankfulness from the I know it sounds kooky. I don't know how to explain it, but it was definitely stuff that I've never felt or experienced before, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's what they used to do back in the day. They used to praise what they'd killed and praise, give thanks to the land and give thanks to the earth and the sea and the all the things that help them to live. And I think we needed to do more of that up there. That's why Amy, my friend Amy, when she started doing the Giving Tree, she used to do the overnights there. Her and her husband Jason, and they were take the teams that they had for the overnights, and they would build the feathers and they do like a ceremony thing and go up and start hanging them on the tree as an offering for a peaceful communication for the night. And then it just became bigger and bigger and bigger, and
And then there was a lonely tree.
there is.
And I
And now,
looked over and I said, that tree needs something too. So now I'm hoping that all the trees start to get decorated. Wouldn't
I've
that be
also
cool?
added some cool like shepherd's hooks and stuff up there because it was just getting too much. There's so much.
Yeah.
A lot falls to the ground, and there's a lot of cool stuff that's been given to the
Yeah.
land, and it's cool to see.
It's so awesome. I love it.
And
And
if
I
you look
love
on the ground, there's like layers of it now. Like there's layers of giving
Yeah.
in the ground itself.
And then Dana also thought of the idea. I don't know too much about fairies, and I don't know if I'm actually I believe in that, but I respect other people's beliefs and stuff like that. So Dana decided, she said, let's get some sugar and leave little sugar piles around for the fairies, that could be here. You know what I mean? I guess that's giving to the fairies as well, not just Native American. So it was, I thought that was pretty cool to experience. I've never experienced anything like that, you know? Um, so yeah. Oh yeah, Kim said it. Derek, she left fairy gifts. Yeah. I didn't know what they were called. I said duh, like it was candy.
Elementals,
Yeah.
elementals.
Yeah, but well, what, oh, it's the same thing? See,
Yeah,
I don't, yeah. The peach tree is definitely going in April, definitely. Uh, I love him so much. For the fairies or the bear, the panther to come visit.
uh,
Listen, it was probably a panther. Now that you say that, I'm wondering if it was a panther, not a bear.
there are if I don't know if you notice when you go up the hill where the steps are now,
Yeah.
there are overgrown apple trees on the hill. Did you notice that? So
No.
a lot of the I didn't know it. I
Yeah.
didn't know until later that they actually had like apple trees on this property originally. And I was there probably within the first year, and I was doing a tour, and we were around the fire, and there was like 12 of us, and all of a sudden you just kept hearing thump, thump. You kept hearing this thumping
Yeah.
noise, and I just kept looking. I'm like, what? Where the heck is that coming from? And finally, I'm over in the hill, and I have a flashlight investigating. And one apple dropped down and made that thumping. I was like, "Oh my God, there's apple trees up here, and they're just like overgrown." That's why we get a lot of animals like over in that area, because they're there to eat the fruits that are falling off the tree.
I love
But
Kenny. Um, it's on my list. Jay, you have to. I tell everybody, I'm like, you have to go to his. Like, if I can have the experiences that I had there, because I'm not a psychic medium. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like none of that. I can't walk into a house and feel stuff like other people can, like I can't. So for me to have the experiences that I had, it to me that leaves a mark. You know what I mean? To me that just means that, that place definitely has a lot of
It's got all the makings of a horror story, but it's
yeah.
also got
Well,
when you get there, it's kind of like, oh, this is like I'm going camping, or this is kind of like it could be laid back, and then there could be it can be like deceiving in a way,
yeah.
But it's cool because I do go to a lot of events. I do talk about the place, and I think that it's speaking for itself now. I mean, because just like Jay in there, it's on his list. It's on a lot of people's lists, and people can't. We're booked. I mean, our whole 2023 on weekends is booked. You know what I mean? And we're booking into 2024, and people, it speaks for itself as
Yeah.
far as like the location goes.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk enough about it. I mean, even so, here's the other weird thing that happened. The sheriff's department showed up on Sunday,
That's
right?
good. That's good.
No, 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 no. So,
They're supposed to.
well, they came up and they're walking up. There's like three. I think there was like three of them. Um, when we first got there, we saw patrol cars. The police.
Uh-huh.
And oh, what was her? Tiffany, right?
Yeah, Tiffany.
Tiffany told us that happened. So we were like, okay. So we did see that. But on Sunday, the I agree for sure. Kim invited him in for coffee. But
Of course she did.
so here, Kenny Biddle. I don't think it's haunted, but it's a great place to just chill for a weekend. It's peaceful, quiet, and just yeah, I agree. Even on that side of it, I agree on both sides. I do agree that I believe that it's haunted but I also agree with him on the other side of it.
Kenny just has to spend more time there.
Make him
Maybe
spend
he'll
20
maybe he'll see a
Kenny,
ghost eventually.
do it 28 days. Do it 82 days.
We don't have 82 days consecutive available right now, or 28 even.
Listen, wouldn't it be worth it to see Kenny Biddle have an experience
It would be.
for 82
That
days?
would be freaking amazing.
Yeah. And none other at Hinsdale?
I
I
don't know
don't
when
know.
he wouldn't be able to write anymore.
What the hell was I gonna say? Shit. Yeah, definitely.
You're talking about the cops and the sheriff that came on
Oh
Sunday.
yeah, yeah.
You're
So
welcome.
thank you. Um, so yeah, so we go outside and they're like, is there somebody named Katie Bellinger here? And we were like, no. And we were leaving. So I was like, I don't know if anybody's coming in after us, but like we're getting ready. We're getting ready to go. I was like, so I don't know if somebody's coming in after us named Katie. And he goes, no, there was a 911 call from a Katie Bellinger from 3 Bear Drive, and the GPS brought us here.
Oh wow.
Right? Well, Tiffany, there's no Bear Drive in Hinsdale. So
That's weird.
it was just odd, like
I think I remember my friend at the sheriff's department telling me that there was a call.
yeah,
But they of course they're going to go investigate. But she said that
they
there was
have to,
something in the
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, they have to. But it was just so odd. I was like, we all were like, that's weird. So then right away we're like messaging Tiffany, like, do you know anybody named Katie Bellinger? Like, they said 3 Bear Drive, and
Well, there's a Bear Ridge. A Bear Ridge, I think, is the name of it. But I'm not sure if that's border Olean or if it's Hinsdale.
yeah, they said 3 Bear Drive. And they said that when they put it in the GPS, it brought them there.
Wow.
Somebody needs to yes. Shut up, Kenny. They clearly wanted to hang out with us. Yeah. Yeah, he reached out to Jeff. Hold on. There was somebody else that wrote, the Hinsdale House is 100% genuine. The experience I had was also surreal and beyond this world. It has stories to share. Yes, I agree.
Oh, the greatest. I like that. The greatest researcher.
He said he has plenty to write about. But yeah, so the history of it, there's two things I remember. And is it true about the brothers that lived there that when the carriages would go by?
Well, I mean, there's proof that I have proof that two brothers lived there in
Okay.
1853.
Okay.
Um, Irish immigrants. One moved to Davenport, Iowa, and actually visited his gravesite, and the other one is local. I don't have any proof that they murdered anybody. As far as I can tell, that they were good, citizens, and the stagecoach trail is kind of wishy washy too because
That was
um,
pre them, right?
yeah, and the only thing that I can see is that on the main road that there was a way station, which where the field is, but the stagecoach trail would have went up the main road, so it never would have detoured over to the house.
Mm.
But then, then I get Dan O'Brien, who was there with the McMahon O'Brien family, and this was a few years back. And they want to come and visit their house that when he was a little boy, he lived there with his grandfather. And he first thing he says when he gets out of the driveway is, "Where'd the rest of the road go?" I go, "What do you mean? The rest of the road that used to go this way and then up behind the house, up to the main road. So there
Oh,
was maybe
wow.
a detour there at some point. I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know if we'll ever know because even all the maps that I can find, anything that we've researched, we don't see that on the maps. And there's actually, the foundation that we found there is probably predating that because we don't see that on any maps either.
Isn't that
So it's
insane?
pretty. Yeah, so I don't like to call, I think it's a good, nice folklore story of the house, but I don't like to physically call anybody a murderer that I don't have proof of calling a murderer.
Right.
So
Right.
it's, you know,
Yeah. That's
it's,
cool though, though it's kind of mysterious, the
yeah,
history. Like you have some parts, but like you see a foundation, but there's no record of it. Like,
right.
and back then, I mean, you
And you
know,
can tell it's like all stone tool, all hand laid stones.
that's so
So,
cool.
I mean, in where we found the unmarked graves, I mean, that could have been just the family burial plot. That could have been the homestead at some point. There could have been a different house there. You know what I mean? So before that one was built.
Any plans with that area?
Yeah. So actually, we got funding, we got donations, and we actually we're going to be putting in a fencing, like black iron fencing around the whole area, and a team by the name of UNI Research and a bunch of other paranormal investigators all did some events and took that money and actually bought it. We're putting in a new grave marker and a gravestone that will be installed this
So
spring.
like, do you know, you don't
We
know,
don't know. We don't know who
and
they
they don't,
are.
and is that like a process or something like that to find out? I mean,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
the historical
I was
society has
basically
a
when I reported it to the sheriff's department, I was basically told that if they said, "Are there any bones?" No, we haven't dug them up. We did GPR. Well, if there's bones, call us. But then I'd basically be shut down for a while because it'd be an active crime scene. And then they have to determine that go through all the everything that they need to go through to basically say, okay, these aren't new; these are old bodies that were buried here. So
so they just left it at that?
yeah, they
They weren't like, "Hey,
They said it
sorry."
happens all the time. There's cities. They said there's cities built in over graves. Like they've built right over the top of them.
Wow,
The Buffalo Bills Stadium is built on a gravesite. Did you know that?
no.
Yeah, Highmark Stadium, and there's actually a graveyard right next to the back of the state parking lot.
That's insane.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
insane.
wondering if that's why the Bills are cursed.
Well, I wonder if the Redskins stadium is built over like an
Could
Indian
be.
native. I really,
Yeah,
maybe.
could be.
Oh no, if it was Native American, they probably would be doing really good. So it would have to be the opposite. Um, yeah, so I feel like one of the schools around here is the same thing. I don't know if it's Temple. One of the gyms is was made over top of a grave site, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so so That's crazy that the cops wouldn't be like, okay, there's bodies there, but, and then just, I guess they don't really want to, I guess they don't care.
It's not that they don't care. It's just not a. They're buried and they're probably pretty damn old.
You think?
Yeah, I mean they're
I
in
wish you could,
caskets.
can't you get a sonar, like to look inside there?
I don't know if that was that better than GPR,
I don't know. I don't know what GPR is.
ground penetrating radar.
So radar, but sonar, couldn't you see it?
I don't know. What he showed me was pretty clear as far as that they're in boxes, so that
Okay.
means they were peacefully buried there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they're just like like the stories say where there's mounds of bodies just buried on the back hill. It's they're placed in boxes and in an
Oh,
area.
okay. So I didn't know you could see that stuff.
Yeah,
Huh. That's interesting. Well, I think it's awesome. So what are you going to put on the stone? Are you just going to just,
just kind of like a remembrance. I don't know. Maybe that's what. So if we're dating back the history of the house, the pond wasn't built until 1969. We found there is a broken off piece of heads of stone in the ground where those unmarked bodies were.
oh,
We
okay.
found the other. We had forensic divers dive the pond, and we actually found the other half of that stone tool marker in the pond, which is
Wow.
which means that it was broken off and dumped in the pond. Now, if these energies that are buried there were their grave was desecrated, and right around that same time, a family happened to move in, and they built a pond, and they started seeing a woman dancing around the pond, and they started seeing a little boy and a little girl, energies around the house and things like that. Maybe does that have something to do with the fact that their gravestone was desecrated and dumped in the pond?
Right.
Uh, I don't know for
Yeah.
sure, but I mean it's a theory, and I mean because up to the point where we found those, we were thinking that it maybe had something to do with the hanging tree, or it had something to do with this little boy that was killed on a buzzsaw. Um, Alfred Warren Emerson,
Like these
1946.
are all stories I didn't know, by the way.
Yeah, no, but that's a true. These are true stories. Like I have news clippings, like of not of the. I have a picture of the hanging tree, and the town of Hinsdale said that the hanging tree was there for the town on the northeast corner of the property. But there was also a little boy that was killed. The chain snapped and cracked him in the head when he was playing on a buzzsaw.
Oh my God.
In 1946, he was a star student at the
And
Hinsdale
this
High
was
School.
outside,
Yeah,
outside the property.
yeah.
It's interesting. See, I didn't know all that. I didn't know all that stuff. Um,
He got to come back.
oh, we're definitely,
April,
we,
April.
yes, we're definitely coming. No, but we're going to come back. The Peaches are going to come back and be there again. We wanted one more night. We never, like, usually by the end of the weekend, we're like,
Uh-huh.
okay, we're over. Yeah. We were like, we wish we had it for one more night.
Yeah,
Because it seemed like it increased as we were there each night. Like the things
yeah.
that were,
The more that they get to know you, maybe the more frequent they're maybe communicating.
I have my headphones on.
Oh, he's talking about because I have the cameras, and when people aren't there, I'll run them live on my YouTube,
Yeah.
and people can investigate the while we're not nobody's there.
I think
You
that's
know?
so cool.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I think it was another good way to able to open the location up to people from around the world, just to see it, and those you get a lot of comments like this is boring or what are we looking for, but people that are really into the paranormal will
They'll
sit there
watch
for
it.
hours. Yeah, and it's like so to me that's so much better to have all those eyes on the cameras
Yeah.
than just recording and going back and having to review it myself. Because then now if you go back and look at all the feeds, there's the pinpoints, like people like put the timestamps
Yeah.
on all the feeds that I've done. Oh, I saw this move or this happened or the light flickered or
Yeah.
and you have all those time spans of things that could have possibly happened when nobody was there, which is really
I
cool.
think it's cool. Like if it, like I I would have been cool with, I mean, people would have seen, I would have forgotten they were on probably, but I wouldn't have cared. Like, I would have been like, okay, because if something happens or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was a cool concept to be able for people to watch
Yeah.
and to see, because, like, I mean, that's like really like, that's raw.
The first time it was hard because I couldn't get any internet up there at the beginning. I had to do satellite internet, and I was able to stream one camera off peak hours. So I was doing it at night, and was streaming it on Paranormal Warehouse back in the day. And we had thousands of people watching it back before Facebook suppressed your numbers. And I fell asleep that night. The first night we had it streaming, just the one in the living room, and that was it. And about 2 something in the morning, my phone just started buzzing, and I woke me up, and I'm getting all these screenshots sent to me of the shadow in the kitchen. It looks like a head and a torso coming from the outside in the Mike's room.
See?
I'm like, boom.
That's what we heard.
Holy Grail, first night streaming, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's what we heard. Like we thought Kim came out of Mike's room, walked through the kitchen, stopped to get like something to eat out of one of the baskets, and was coming into the living room. And when she never came, we were like, Kim? And then me and Chauncey were like, oh my God. That was like, what happened? I remember the shadow figure scene in the kitchen was brilliant.
Yeah, Kyle was one of my originals, man. He's a friend from up in Canada, and he's been to the house a few times, and he's been a supporter of the location. Let it be watching the feeds or participating in when I used to do my podcast myself. He's been around for a long time. Thanks for being in there, buddy.
Oh yeah, thank you. That's awesome. So I wound up being there by myself for 2 hours.
No shit.
I was impressed with myself.
Yeah.
But it was during the day.
Considering what it took to get you there.
I know. It was during the day. And I had 2 stipulations. I'm like, I'm not going to go outside because I was going live. So, and people know you're there, and I watch too much ID on Discovery. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to go outside, and I wasn't going to go in the basement for some reason. I don't know why. Those were my 2 things. But the rest of the time, like I literally investigated for 2 hours by myself. And I couldn't go live on StreamYard. It was real choppy. So I couldn't go live on StreamYard and go live all at once. So I had to like go live on YouTube for a little bit and go live on Facebook for a little bit.
Yeah, the bandwidth's not there.
Yeah. So, but I was so proud of myself. So everybody's like, oh, have you? So in all my interviews, I get the same question. And Hinsdale is always my answer. Have you ever investigated by yourself? Yep, Hinsdale.
It's been your first for a lot of things, huh?
Yes.
You popped her paranormal peach, everybody.
Yes, you did. Well, Hinsdale. I had, and you know what else I have to say? Tiffany was great.
Tiffany is great.
She was amazing. Like she really she walked us around. She was like, love it. She loved us. Like she was really, really great, very accommodating. I mean, everything was great. We had
the people that I have that help up there are amazing.
Yeah.
They're great people, and I love that we kind of evolved together, like as the history change, if something changes, we're all able to like converse and let each other know. And the group of people I have up there that help out are amazing. So I'm so thankful for them. And
you could tell the difference between somebody that just has a place and wants to make money off of it, and then somebody that has a place that has passion for what they're doing and passion in the cause, passion in what helps raise that money. You can see the difference, because I've been in a place where you're like, where's all this money going that people are paying to investigate?
Right.
And it's falling apart in front of you. And then you see this. And then you also have to think about the people and the people that run those places are different. You don't get that same.
It was very important to me that the history was told correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that I have that opens up is, has gone through many, many tours, has gone through many different trainings. I don't even want to say trainings. It just takes time. It takes time and then they have their own everybody has their own personal stories too. Mm-hmm. And I always say, well, don't go there and tell your personal stories. Go there and tell the history, and then let them get their own stories. If they ask you about your own stories, then by all means dive in. But if they don't, that's what they're there for, to make their own. They're going to have their own stories to tell. So
I 1000% agree. I said, whenever I go to somewhere, I just want to know the historical facts. I don't want to know the ghost stories.
Right. Just because you don't want to have a false, pretense of what's going to happen there that night, because you
Right.
never know, because it changes so much for
Right.
different groups that come there. Things change, and you just never know what's going to happen. So if you have somebody focusing on something that maybe they're missing something else
Right.
that their purpose of being there was for.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I am living proof that like the total opposite occurred. I was like, the whole way up there, I'm like, I can't believe you motherfuckers are making me go here. I was like, I can't believe you guys are making me go here. I can't believe it. I was so scared. Megan's like, you're gonna love it. And I'm like, oh my God, no, everybody I know always has a bad experience. Not bad in a bad way, but like I ever since I've started, when I was with South Jersey Ghost Research way back in the day, it 2011 and 12, there were different types of private cases, and um, there was a team, a special response team that went out for like the more negative type places, and they would call those red flags. And I told the director, I said, listen, I don't want nothing that's even a pinkish hue come my way. Casper only for me. Casper only. You know,
yeah,
so that's always been my thing. And people have had these experiences that I was like, oh, why would you want to go there? Like, no. And they were like, you just have. Then they made me go. Basically, they made me go, and now I love it. I'm just so thankful for it.
yeah. There had to be
Um,
a reason Megan was going there by herself. I mean,
I
you know,
I can't believe she went there by herself overnight. Like again, I was there by myself during the day for two
I don't
hours.
let everybody. I don't let just anybody do that either. I've only
Yeah,
let a few people to
yeah,
spend the night alone. There has to be a lot of trust built between me and that person, because you see how it is. It's like, especially being a woman, I had to, I have a guy that lives down the street. He's like 360-pound beast, and I had to let him know to keep an eye on the place while she was there, because, it's just, to me, it's a little scary.
yeah.
You know?
Oh, for sure. That's what I'm saying. Like not just
Being there alone,
right,
like just not because of the ghost, but
right.
because of things that could, if somebody came down there or was
Bear,
fucking around, a
panther.
bear, sure, sure.
Like I remind you, when I ran from the whatever it was, my equipment went flying. So my recorder was out there for like 3 hours afterwards, right? And I'm listening back, and all I'm hearing are like it was either wolves or coyotes on both sides. Or they were like talking. It sounded like they were talking back and forth. There was how I was like, coyotes too. I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
A nice
or
ecosystem we
wolves.
got going.
Hmm?
Nice ecosystem. Dandy House is in the house.
Yes.
That's I don't know if it's Paul or Link. Speak up, Dandy House, because that's Paul Kenyon's. He was there during the exorcism. He was friends of the Dandy family, so that's his page
Oh.
that he runs, and our friend Link is also a moderator on that page. So
Oh
that he
wow.
comes.
I would love to have him come on then.
Oh, he will. He will come up. He will, if you request him, he'll come up and talk your ear off about
Yeah.
the location. And
Oh,
he's a
I would
big
love to.
skeptic, but he's had some things out there that he can't explain, and he loves talking about it.
I let you said he's a skeptic, but he has had. See, I love that. Like that's
Yeah,
great.
I mean, he witnessed it all with his own eyes.
Yeah. No, I would love to totally. Yeah. See, at nighttime, I don't know if I would feel as comfortable as I did during the day. Like during the day, I was like, wow, this place is just awesome, and I was doing EVP sessions, and I really felt like I was just trying to talk,
Yeah.
and I wasn't scared like I thought I would be scared. But at nighttime, I think it would be a because shit happened to me at night there outside. So like I really think it'd be a whole nother beast. Not upstairs. Kim went upstairs like 4 or 5 times when we heard something move upstairs. We thought it was a chair. And then because that's what it sounded like. And I have a train that's like I got in like 2011. It's a trigger prop, and it just beeps and it never works. And it kept going off, and then the chimes would go off that were above us. So I mean, like there's all this stuff happening, and I'm like, this is insane. Like I don't why how am I surrounded by this much? Like what is happening right now? Um Oh, Jossie's here. Hey, Joss.
She's gonna have to watch the replay.
Yeah. I told on us how we said we weren't going to go investigate and Kenny would be disappointed in us. uh,
See, I could just have Kyle come on and do my speaking for me. See?
he's a huge fan. I love it. I mean, this is great. This is great information. Stuff that I didn't even know, you know?
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, it does take on a different vibe when the sun goes down. I agree. Yes. Yeah, I definitely would love to have him on too. I would love to, you also yourself though, Dan, not, I mean, Hinsdale House aside, you write, you're an author,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And can you tell everybody about your book and where they can get it and find it?
Yeah. I have my book, as well as Paul's book, as well as Clara's book, available on in my store, danielklaes.shop, my name.shop. Also have like lots of cool T-shirts and hoodies and memorabilia from the house for sale there that helps with funding projects that we do there.
Yeah, you did something really cool. You did the whole you push that button in each room and it tells a story.
Oh yeah, I mean that was Vicky's idea. She's been with me, helping me with the location, doing basically anything we ask. You know, she's helped install the ghost cams there. Does a lot of the design work. She's helped me do the website. But her idea is to get scannable barcodes and then tell the story of each room. It's like giving history, and then you have records from like videos from like Clara and the priest that did the exorcism, and it's just cool for people that are there to be able to see those videos and see some of the history and some of the things that we had found in the house, and it helps to regulate the stories as well, not get so much folklore veer away from that,
Right.
just these are the stories, this is the truth, here's the videos, here's the
Yeah.
links, and hear it for yourself, even when you're sitting down on the can, there's one. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. No, it is. It's great. You know what else? One of the other.
We're adding 12 more too. We have a Wi-Fi extender that we're getting. We're going to be putting 12 on the outside of the house as well. Like, so there'll be.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. One of my other favorite stories that I heard was about the bullet hole or the bullet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Can you
So
tell us
so
that story?
there's so the bathroom was in pretty bad shape when I first got it. The toilet leaked, and it just needed to be redone. It got to the point where I had some contractors in there, and they were able to like stick their finger through the wood because it was just so bad.
Oh
I'm like, oh my
wow.
god, this could collapse at any time. We got to get this fixed. And I had to like divert all my thought process of what we were doing and put it into the bathroom to fix the bathroom because um, that it was just imperative because the wood was rotting. So we had to redid all the plumbing. We had a new septic system done, and at that time we redid the bathroom as well. There was a tub in there. We took the tub out and put a shower in. Moved the toilet from next to the door to across from the door. Put in a new floor. And some of the wood that was salvageable, I always like to donate that to Jeff Fent or anybody actually that like builds things with haunted location stuff. But Jeff is very well known for building like boxes, ghost boxes, and spirit boxes and cases and stuff like that. So I had sent him this wood, and when he finally got to cutting it, and he's like, "My God, Daniel, you're never gonna believe what I found." And he sent me the picture of it, and he goes, "There's a bullet lodged in this wood."
So
And
fucking
the
cool.
first thing that runs through your head are all the folklore stories of people getting shot and
Yeah, like is it true?
murders. And well, when we had the bullet dated, it was pre-Revolutionary War. So what
So
so
insane.
what means is that the bullet hit a tree, that tree was harvested and then built into the Hinsdale house, and it's just been there. And the thing is I most of that what I took and put in the fire because it was so rotted. That piece was saved, and because I sent it away, like it just seems like so weird. Like you just find things because that would have been gone, and that's like a piece of history that would have but never been found.
Pre-Revolutionary War. That's insane.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So do you have the bullet?
It's still lodged in the piece of wood. Yeah, Jeff saved it and sent it back up to me, and I have
So
it, and I'm gonna
amazing.
put it in the museum for people to see.
Yeah, I would love to see that. That's so great. But you didn't get any more information about it, just that it
No, we
was
just had it.
rated.
Yeah, we just had it dated, and we'll just keep it as that,
Yes, that's
Because
so
we don't want
cool.
to, you don't want to like build a story around it. It's just cool. It's cool
It's
that
so
that wood
cool.
was harvested and that little piece of history was kind of in the house the whole time. There's another story about the bathrooms too. When we were doing the demo of the bathrooms, these car we found a lot of stuff in the walls. We found a letter from Laura Dandy, or no, from Beth Dandy, that was somehow on the wall that she wrote to her friend in Buffalo. We found an old jacket. We found like a lot of stuff that people would shove in the walls for insulation, like old clothing and stuff like that. But we also all of a sudden these carved bullheads. They look like a bullhead carved, and they're black, and they looked like they were like voodoo type stuff.
Like
One
the
fell
shit
out
I
of
saw in the freaking field?
wait, well, let me tell the story first before you jump to a conclusion.
Go
So,
ahead.
so one bullhead from on the wall over there, and then one over by the sink. And I'm like, man, are there more of these? Are these like are these voodoo? I go, what the heck are these things where they put there as protection? So I'm trying to figure out what these carved black voodoo bullhead things were. And my friend Cassidy, who's friends with, she's been around for a long time in the paranormal field. She was research. She's like, we're gonna find out what these are. She's like gung ho, like she will not give up till she finds out what these things are. And then she's like, I figured it out. I go, no shit, what are they? And she goes, they're neckerchief slides for Boy Scouts. They're carved, right? So they're like
Oh.
they have a little hole in them, right? And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And she actually pulled up a picture of one. They were like 1960s,
Oh,
like
cool.
kits that you could buy and carve them. And then when I researched the McMahon O'Brien family, the McMahons were actually very involved with Scouts. So that makes a lot of sense that they could have.
Oh, that's
I just don't know
cool.
how they got in the wall. That's just weird.
Yeah.
Like, how did they end up in the wall? Unless they
Yeah.
put them there for some reason, is just weird though.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird the things that people find in walls from back in the day. Like I mean, you
Yeah,
get like money, you
I wish I
understand.
would have found money.
Yeah,
That would have
right.
been cool.
And then like I was at a place called Old Columbus Inn. That was though an orphanage at one point, but they found 30 pairs of kids' shoes and clothes and stuff like that in the walls, but like you said, some of the stuff was used for insulation. You can find newspapers and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, horsehair, like that
Yeah.
plaster and stuff like that. Yeah,
I mean, even, like, my house that I grew up in was not that old. I think it was built in maybe, like, the 1950s, something like that,
yeah,
and, they were repairing the ceiling from the bathroom leak, and all this stuff fell out of the ceiling from behind the bathtub, and it was blueprints to a boat. There were family pictures, there were
that's cool.
cards, there was, like, all this stuff, and we're like, what is it? There's a birth certificate from, like, Czechoslovakia from, like, 1800s. We're like, "Why is all this stuff in the wall?"
It's
You
been
know?
it's been preserved there for all those years.
All those years. What do you got coming up? Where you
The
gonna
next
be?
the next event that I have is in Arizona. For the Vulture, we're going to be doing the Vulture. It's an old Midwest abandoned village, which is really cool, Vulture City.
Ooh, that sounds
So we're
cool.
going to be investigating overnight with groups of people in this old mine town, which is really cool.
That
In
sounds cool.
Arizona. That's in March. I think there's still a couple tickets left. That's March 11th and 12th. And then I don't. I mean, I have a lot of stuff on the books, but I only know what I have coming up next. I'm going over to England this year again for Festival of the Unexplained in September.
That's cool.
Michigan Paracon. There's a whole bunch of good ones that I'll
Kim
be
is
at.
asking, are you going to Mohegan Sun?
If I'm invited, I'll go back for sure. I haven't heard yes or anything about that yet, but that was an amazing event. They did a great job with it and got a lot of I like going to new events. I
Yeah,
especially like going to new events because you can spread the word. A lot of people maybe don't know about the location, and I love investigating new locations. It's blessed. I'm blessed.
yeah.
And I really feel that way. Like I'm doing what I love to do and getting a lot of people pay to have to do that stuff, and I get asked to go to these places, and I don't know. I'm very humble about it, and I don't know if there's any difference between me or you or anybody else. I've written a book and I own a location. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. But I learn from people, they learn from me, and I
Yeah.
just have a good time with it.
All right. So if this is a fair question, aside from Hinsdale, where's your favorite place to go?
Man, there's so many that I've been to.
Yeah.
This place in Lockport, New York, there's an old factory there that's being turned into art lofts, and we investigated there for Death Walker, Nick's show, and Nick. I mean, we had some crazy experiences there before. That's why I told Nick about the location. And then when Nick came there, I don't know if anybody's seen Death Walker yet, but the location is just amazing. And he caught this arm and coming in and on the camera.
Oh, wow.
It looks like it has 3 fingers with suction cups up.
Oh,
It's
wow.
creepy. And
Wow.
we had a static camera set on the ground. We had Justin, Nick's cousin, was filming, and it only appeared on one of the cameras. And
Oh,
these
that's cool.
are both like super HD, 8K cameras. So, and there's not any speculation. We had the videos analyzed by experts. We had somebody from the Tim Com will take a look at it. We had a local professor at one of the colleges look at it, and they looked at it frame to frame and said that this isn't doctored, this is freaking the real deal, and it's really cool.
What is it?
I
Right?
I I don't know. I think it's interdimensional. I really do. It
Wow.
doesn't look like a human hand. It does not
No?
look like a human. It looks like a 3-fingered, maybe 4,
Could it
and
be a
you
dinosaur? Do you think dinosaur ghosts could exist?
I don't. It could be, but to me, it seemed more because something you heard something fall
Okay.
on camera, like you heard like something drop, and then you see this hand come in, going right towards Nick's face, and then it's out of there.
Wow. Maybe Kim saying alien.
Maybe you
Do you
got
know
you got
what
to check it
that is?
out,
I want
huh?
to see that.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you can watch it for free. So
Yeah, no. I mean, I want to see that. That's so cool. I love watching stuff that.
it's called the Western Block. It's written. The cool thing about this place is it's right next to one of the old Lockport locks from the Erie Canal, so it's a
Yeah.
still functioning lock system. The canal's right across the street from it.
So cool. So
Yeah.
much cool shit happens around canals.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
just in Birdsboro, Pennsylvania this weekend, and I was standing in a house that was built in 1716, and I'm like, three. It's over 300 years old, and they were in front of a canal, and the canal flooded, and it was almost underwater, and it's still standing.
yeah.
I mean, small, but they're
Yeah.
both small houses, but they were doing an archaeological dig there, and they're finding all kinds of pottery and all kinds of stuff. But I mean, canals, a lot of shit happened along canals.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think back in the day too. These little towns where these canal workers stayed, and the bar fights and all that
Well,
shit.
and the wars and the soldiers would travel
Yeah.
that way,
Yeah.
and they would stop at these places, and they would do whatever they had to do, you know. But I think all that stuff is cool.
Yeah. It's
So
fascinating.
and so that's awesome. I mean, you get to do the investigations, and would you say you're a healthy skeptic? You go in and you're.
I like to try to figure things out.
Mhm.
Like if I hear something, and I try to plan out like when we're investigating, so there's ways to go back and look if we hear something. So I do take a pretty skeptical approach, and there's been some things that have happened to me that I can't explain in my life, but things I've seen that have freaked me out. But yeah, I mean, it just makes me want to see it again, do
Yeah.
it again, do
I
it
mean,
all
I
over
don't know
again.
if I'd want to see whatever I saw outside of Hinsdale that day. That sure. Da, da, da. I don't think I want to see that again. Um, but I have yet to see an apparition or anything like that. You know what I mean? I don't know what I saw outside of Hinsdale. All I know is that's the scariest I've ever been in my life.
Probably a dog.
I was not a dog. If it was a dog, I'd be like, "Come here, baby." Like I was trying to get the cat to come over to us while we
You
were
should have
outside.
tried it and see if it started. These two eyes started going like
Yeah.
this towards you.
Oh, F that. No way. I was out.
All of a sudden,
I
that thud you heard right
Oh
towards
my
you.
god. I ran inside and Kim and all them were inside and they were like, "What is it?" I was like, "Oh my god." Kim says it's the Mothman. I don't know what it was, but oh, Carrie Canal is just 200 feet south of where I live.
That's cool. I live really close to the canal too, Barry. That's in my town that I live in, North Tonawanda. I can walk down to the end of the street. It's amazing how that thing was built and how far it stretches. You know, it's really cool. But
Yeah,
yeah, I can walk to the canal from my house too, in North
that,
Tonawanda.
that's cool. The house I so do you find that maybe that you're open to this like wherever you go, you pick up on you might experience something like the house you're in that you live in. Do you ever experience anything in there? I'm not saying it's haunted, but I'm saying like you being open and maybe a passer through
I
or
feel
somebody.
like the house that I'm in, I basically shut off anything like that. Like it's my family house. That's where I live. When I grew the house, I own the house across the street as well, and I grew up in the house across the street, and had shit happening there when I grew up. Actually, they did a story about it on Travel Channel called My Paranormal Nightmare, and it's cool because a lot of these shows you get to go talk about your paranormal experience that you had, and they do like reenactments or whatever. And this one was cool, and it's in the fact that my sister got to be on it with me, and we got to kind of tell the story of us growing up and the stuff that happened, and how eventually we ended up solving or figuring out who and what was going on in the house. And I feel like that the kids that were in that house that died of cystic fibrosis were part of our family event at some point, But it's just funny, like the way they do the reenactment shows. On there they portrayed me like being concerned for my sister and like helping her out, like picking up her room and stuff. I'm like, I would have never done that. They made me look like $1 million. I was like a teaser. I was like a brother. They always used to. Cause I has three younger sisters, and I always used to tease them a lot.
Oh, that is funny. That's
But
hilarious. You always wonder about that. Cody's asking, have you ever seen a Bigfoot?
no, no, I've never seen one. Now I've heard like knockings on trees at the house. We've seen people come forward and shown like Bigfoot castings, feet around the house.
What?
We were doing this one camping event there, and like a whole tree got knocked over while we were there. So,
Oh, wow.
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never seen one. I think it's definitely interesting. I've had the Center for Cryptozoology come up, and when we do some events there sometimes, and teach us about that type of stuff and how they investigate, and it's a
Did
little
they ever
different.
say if they believe that something could be there?
I mean, they keep doing what they're doing because they believe that, just as we do with the energies and spirits. So, I
No, I
mean,
mean up near like Hinsdale, because
yeah,
don't they say like Bigfoot has like like they believe has a pattern of where he traveled, where
I
they
mean,
travel and stuff.
yeah, they have like sightings, maps, and things like that. But there's definitely been Bigfoot feet cast up that way. I mean, they call it the Enchanted Mountains for a reason.
Kim is insane. There's no
That
way.
was a Bigfoot.
Yeah, she wants one to come. I see. Nope.
She's gonna invite it in for coffee. Come this way, sir.
She probably would.
You're cute. You can come and have some of my coffee.
You're cute. Well, I've had you for like over an hour. And I want to thank you so much for coming on.
Of course.
And thank you so much for everything you do for Hinsdale, but also the paranormal community. Opening up the house and allowing people to come in and and do their thing, and all the history digging you're doing, and I think it's awesome. I think it's
Thank
awesome,
you.
and it's my favorite location.
Having fun
I
with it.
Yeah, we can't wait to get back. And we're gonna plant our peach tree and our apple tree, and we're gonna have fun.
All right.
And you're gonna be there.
If you bring a peach pie with you, I'll be there.
Yes, I will bring a peach pie.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much, Dan. Oh, really quick, tell everybody where they can find you, like your pages and stuff. I do.
Oh,
They are on the link, but just
yeah,
tell
I
them.
mean, basically, my name, danielklaes.com. There's a drop down box, and they'll have links to like my events and in Hinsdale House, Wildwood Sanitarium that I work with, and some other stuff. So, other people that I work with, ghost finders wise, and stuff that I'm interested in. So, there's a big drop down box there to check out all the stuff. But my events, any events that I'll be at, will be up there. And the 2 locations, if you're interested in coming out, just click on the link and book a day. Come
You
out and
gotta
check it
wait till
out.
2024.
Well, if you can come during the week, you can still come. And there are a few Fridays open still. I just had a Saturday open up, the
Oh,
10th,
really?
actually right before the show, the 10th of well, March or February. So I don't know if people want to come when it's cold, but
Why not?
no, they
You
do. I
have
mean, we're
heat,
booked.
right?
We're booked. Yeah, we have heat.
Yeah.
It's
I
very
mean,
expensive.
outside, well, I'm never going outside at night anyway, so it's just that's cool. I'm fine with it being cold out. Kim said we're gonna bring 8 peach pies
Perfect.
because there's 8 of us.
We'll have a peach pie tasting contest then.
We'll have a peach pie. Yes, yes, yes. I'll bring the peach whiskey
And then we could leave some peach pie out for the fairies
or the bears. They eat peach
or the
pie, don't
bears.
they?
Sure, sure they will.
I'll leave it up top of the mountain so they don't come
There you
down.
go.
um, she's gonna make 1 apple pie.
Fine with me. I like apples.
We like peaches better, but that's okay. We can do apple. Thank you again, Dan. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
I had a fun time. I'm glad that we got to talk and share our experiences and
Well, thanks for having me. We will
yeah.
see you guys in a
I'll
few
see.
short
Yeah,
months.
absolutely, absolutely. You have a good night, dear.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye, guys.
All right. So that was a great show. And I will stand to this that Hinsdale is my favorite place to go and will always go. Thank you, Dan. Thank you so much. Everybody go, check his stuff out. I'm gonna go check out a lot of those videos that he was talking about because I do want to see it. I have exciting news. This came up last minute, but this Sunday, 8:30, I will have Dallin Spratt on from Ghost Brothers. So he emailed me this morning and confirmed this Sunday that he wants to come on this Sunday. So it's going to be a special brew. Again, I'm going to have Dallin Spratt on from Ghost Brothers, which I'm looking forward to. If you guys have not checked out his YouTube page is awesome. Him and his wife do this thing that I absolutely fell in love with, and I watch their videos all the time. He also does like his own videos and stuff, but his YouTube channel is so amazing. So please go check it out. And again, join us Sunday night at 8:30. So while I interview Dallin Spratt from Ghost Brothers, it's going to be an exciting show. I'm excited about it. And I want to thank everybody for coming on. My peaches. I love you all. Yes, Dallin Spratt. Yeah, he's so cool. He's so nice he surprised me with this Sunday because I always like to promote it, but I guess he promotes himself. So, just him coming on is enough. But please join me Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you so, so, so much. You guys rock. And that's it. I'll see you guys next week.